I don't know if you can smell that through the camera. This stuff stinks. Well, good morning guys and welcome back. Today I'm going to be getting my logs that I cut in probably June. At the neighbor's house there was a storm that rolled through, big old windstorm, tornado maybe, something like that, knocked down a bunch of oak trees. So in June I cleaned them up, set all the wood to the side because at that time I didn't have room in my yard for the logs, and it's just right next door, so I wasn't in a hurry to get them. But it is now like the end of September and the winter is approaching. And I've got room now in my yard, so before it gets cold and wet and rainy and soft, I want to get them over here. So I've got the MT100, I fueled it up and greased it, and then I'm going to hook on my truck to the dump trailer and we'll go next door and get them cut up. So I've got the 461 and 500i I'm taking over there, and I have a bunch of limb wood. My plan is to put the limb wood all right where the mini excavator is sitting. I can dump it where I'm standing and spin it over there. And then I've got a bunch of giant wood. I'm talking like 20 to 30 inches in diameter. All of that stuff, it's in about 10-foot logs. And whenever I moved them off to the side, it was everything the MT100 wanted to move them off to the side. So I know there's no way I'm gonna be able to load them over the dump trailer walls without either tipping myself off or banging them in the trailer. So I'm gonna cut them into 64-inch lengths. That way it'll give me 4 16-inch cuts. And then they're all going to go right here, and being that there'll only be 64-inch cuts, that's my plan. I'll be able to get them in the dump trailer safely, and then when I get them over here I'll be able to stack them up real tall because I can actually pick them up because they're not too heavy. So that is the plan. Yeah, I got to get hooked onto the dump trailer right over there, and I'm going to drive the Bobcat over there first, drop it off, walk back over here, get hooked up, and go over there. So I will see you over there. All right, so I made it over here with the Bobcat. This is what I'm dealing with. So I got this pile of limb wood, and there's some, I guess, smaller stuff in here that's not limb wood, but mainly it's limb wood. Oh, there's some shagbark hickory, but all of this is red oak, and it's all from the same 3 trees. So all this stuff will go in that hole like I told you. It should fit in there. And then all of this is the big stuff. And like I said, these logs are all like, this is a small one. This is probably 18 inches there. The rest of it is, yeah, I'd guess the biggest stuff is probably 20 to 22. I think I overestimated. There's some bigger, maybe 26 there. But it was everything, those big ones, it was everything my machine had to get it over here. So, yeah, I'm going to cut those in half or whatever makes it out to be 16-inch chunks that I'm not having waste. Like, I don't want to just blindly cut them in half and have waste on both ends. I'd rather just have waste on one end, you know. So that is the plan. I'm going to go back and get the truck. cut that one. And I don't know if you can smell that through the camera. This stuff stinks. All right, the trailer is about full. I guess if I would have cut them all 64 like I talked about and put them in there, I could do 2 racks, but I can only do 1 the way I did it, which it's not like I'm going too far, so not a big deal. But I think I'm definitely gonna have to do a lot less cutting than I thought. There is some bigger stuff in here, but it's just like anything, I guess. You underestimate how strong your stuff is. That's a pretty big oak chunk there, and the MT100 will handle it and load it in there safely. So the rest of these, I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 more I got to cut, but I think a lot of them I'm going to be able to get in there no problem. So I'm going to take that back and dump it, and I will be back in a jiff. Pretty full. That is like only 6 logs, but the logs are so big and they're so heavy that I don't want to pile them up against each headboard. So, but I think this is a true testament and a good time to say that a lot of times you see people running equipment maybe on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, ooh, I need big equipment. Everybody has at least a 5-ton excavator, a big tractor, a big skid loader. I need big stuff. Well, no, you don't. This is just an MT100, and I'm loading big oak logs. Like, how much bigger do you want to load? So all I'm saying is, if you know what you're doing and you're comfortable with your machine because you're experienced with it, you can do some stuff. I mean, I'm pushing the limits of that MT100, but it's doing the job and it's not damaging it. It's just light on the rear end because it's stronger hydraulically than it is weighted. So, but again, like I said, if you know what you're doing and you feel comfortable with it, you can do a lot of stuff with the smaller, a lot less cheap machinery. So I'm going to go back and get this dumped, and then I'm probably out of room and I need to drive the MT back over there, organize all these so I can make 2 more dumps. So I'll see you here. All right guys, so the video kind of went a little haywire. I'm sure you're like me when you just start working, you just want to get work done, you don't video everything, but I did some videoing and I got a lot of stuff done. I got all of this oak here back home, and that is a nice little wall of oak. All really good stuff. I would dump it here and then I would stack it up and then dump more. And then I got this probably cord's worth of hickory logs back home. This is what I will work up next because I'm on my hickory right now. I'm going to get all my hickory done in the next hopefully like 2 weeks, and it's only 2 weeks because I'm missing totes. Like all of my totes are full, and I'm starting to sell right now. Like this is a pretty good day today. I got 5 totes going out. The temperatures are getting cooler and people are stocking up for winter, or they're having campfires. But I also got this oak. This is all like the limb wood. I cut all this stuff pretty much in half from what it was. That way it would fit in this little alley here. But everything worked good, and that is it for this video. I will see you guys next time, and you guys have a great day. See ya.